Howdy, tabletop RPG fans. Thank you for supporting this channel. I'm Wrangleme, Grand Poobah of Game Design, and this Reviews Day topic is about dungeon tiles. When first starting out in 1977, our dungeons were all theater of the mind. The dungeon master had a map on graph paper, and the players would do their best to copy what was learned onto their own map. The dungeons and levels were big and could take weeks of gameplay just to explore and overcome the challenges. To use miniatures and to visualize things, we started using battle mats, both dry erase and wet erase, to draw dungeons, buildings, and wilderness encounters to a scale of 1 inch equals 5 feet. It was at that time that I realized that you could take the map scale dungeon geomorphs, and using a photocopier with magnification, you could make sections of the dungeons as tiles and construct your own battle mats from pre-made modular sections. Sort of color forms meets castle blocks, and we called them dungeon tiles. A few RPGs came out with battle mat scale maps or dungeon tiles, and I also started using large 4-foot by 6-foot sheets of graph paper to draw a whole village or a dungeon level at a whole 1 inch equals 5-foot scale. The idea of modular chipboard and cardstock dungeon tiles blossomed into its own RPG accessory. Board games like HeroQuest, Super Dungeon Explorer, Crossmaster Arena, Crossmaster Quest, Mass Moria, Gloomhaven, and many more came along with game boards and tiles already marked out to scale. With a bit of ingenuity, those boards and tiles could become part of your own dungeon tile collections too. Heroic Maps, 2-Minute Tabletop, and many other companies started making PDFs and graphic image dungeon tiles that could be printed out or used in virtual tabletop software. Virtual tabletop software like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds included the ability to import virtual dungeon tiles. It was quite easy to scale the map scale up to battle scale using virtual tabletop software. As early as 1981, small publishers started making generic dungeon tile packs of cardstock or chipboard to purchase. Some small publishers started making tile map packs depicting castles, taverns, caverns. Some, like the Mage Knight sets from WizKids, included plastic painted props like doors, traps, and various dungeon decorations. Sci-fi and modern tiles were also added to the possibilities. In 1981, The Complete Tavern was published by Gamelords as one of its earliest products. It was listed at $3.95, being the treatise on ye perils and ye pleasures of frequenting a public house. And it included a whole lot of materials about what you could do and all the fun that you could have at a tavern, including mini games like darts and other pub-style games. It came with this beautiful battle size map and a large number of cutouts of small things that could be seats or kegs or tables or chairs or benches or who knows what, but all things that could be laid out onto the map depicting it. It was in a hex grid format, and the dimensions seemed a little small sometimes for the figures, but this was one of the earliest indications of a battle map that was modular, where you could arrange the furniture and deal with the gameplay. So in 1981, a lot of self-publishing was done using Ziploc baggies, including software and tabletop RPGs. So this is the generic Gaming Tiles 3 set or pack. It was originally priced at $9.99, distributed by Boardcraft Simulations Incorporated in Sassoon, California. Again, copyright 1981. And it's very interesting because the artwork in here is very compelling. People who recognize artwork from Chaosium in later years will recognize this artist. I believe her name was Lisa Free. And this is quite an interesting collection. The colors are fairly subdued. It is color printed, but fairly subdued, probably to make it easy for players to see their miniatures on. Each tile was double-sided, so there's the tower, bridge, and the water. And here's an example of a dungeon or smithy room, and maybe a tavern. Lots of different hallways, and causeways between two buildings, stairwells, just different pieces. A lot of very nice thick chipboard tiles, all collected together in one package for $10, and included something that not a lot of other people had at the time, was a whole set of tokens that players could use for, or GMs could use for any of the monsters or encounters that they happen to have along the way. And so these are all hand-drawn, top-down token encounters, tokens. And it was quite a good set. And again, I bought it at the very earliest days of Games Unlimited in Pleasant Hill, before they moved to Concord, my local gaming store, in 1981. Next are Adventure Tiles Dungeons, the Fiery Dragon brand, made by Skeleton Key Games. And it came in this terrific metal container, but as you can see, it's become dented because sometimes I'm carrying a lot of stuff in my bags. When you open this, it has this amazing set of, looks to me like we're talking 5-inch tiles. And these are not double-sided, but you can combine them together into exciting different sets. And maybe like that. And there's a little dungeon. And this is, there are literally as many different kinds as you might want in a dungeon format. It says here in their brochure that they have wilderness tiles and cave tiles as well. And technically that you can get these by going to SkeletonKeyGames.com. I don't know if that's still true. I will point out that they also have in the pack, besides the chipboard, they have cardstock versions. Looks like they're actually printed slightly on maybe like postcard paper. But all kinds of accessories, pillars and barrels and drains and pits, and any number of exciting dungeon accessories. Oh. And last but not least is a giant battle map for you to lay these out on. It unfolds into a large 1-inch grid battle map with the skeletons of warriors past that did not make it in the dungeon. Many years ago, WizKids came out with Mage Knight sets, and then they came out with these accessory packs that were the Mage Knight tiles, but they also included props, so plastic miniatures, and all of these are double-sided, so they're brilliant. Again, the artwork is tremendous. It very much creates the mood that you want, and you're building out your dungeon. And these are creepy. They're exciting. They are mysterious. They have different shapes to them in terms of corridors and T intersections, and then larger square sections. I've have used these a number of times for different dungeons that I wanted to depict. And just a section as we were battling through things, and I didn't want to have to draw things out. As here's a corner, and you're encountering things. Here, the water area is all tagged with 3s, which I'm sure meant something in the Mage Knight system. But these were great, and while they're gridded at something that's slightly larger than an inch, I tend not to actually use grids so much anymore in my gaming. I figure you're either adjacent or you're ranged, and that's all I worry about. I don't worry about trying to negotiate what it means to have exactly the number of inches of anything anymore. This is the little box from Diazo that I use to store all of my terrain. And so these are some examples of things that came with the Mage Knight kits. Statues of, looks like some sort of a demon beast thing. Doors, plenty of doors. They're articulated doors. They actually open and close. Good doors. Ponds of water. More doors. Another pond of water. Pillars. Mysterious statues depicting some ancient runic writing. Some sort of a plant altar. A water fountain. More doors. Benches. Chairs. All the right pieces that you might want. I've added to it over the years things from action figure packs, things from the craft store. When it's Halloween shopping time, I'm grabbing things like tombstones from the little setups for Halloween decorations. I'll use Sculpey and I'll make things like this spike trap. More Halloween stuff, approximately right-sized caskets and coffins. Strange things from vending machines in Japan that I found. This is a standing rock. Different terrain kits that people have 3D printed pieces and left them for me to explore with. Sometimes in a board game collection, I'll find things. Sometimes in Happy Meal toys, I'll find things. This brilliant little dome, all ironclad. My wife found that one while she was shopping for something, and that went into my collection. So this is my prop box, giant crystal. And I either craft things or I buy things, or they came in the original Mage Kit kits. But it all goes with me when I'm using my dungeon tiles to lay out all the accessories and pieces that I'm using in whatever adventures that I'm running. So the newest addition to my collection is from Loke battle mats. It's Loke makes very large, fold out battle maps in spiral round ring booklets, And somebody realized that one of the things that was missing in this kit was that if you had these beautiful battle mats, sometimes you were in a small place like a room or a hallway or corridor. And so they came out with this little book format. And it's wonderful because we're talking here about a 6-inch area, essentially, with some space here for the spiral binding. But it has a wipe clean surface, which means that you can actually use it with your dry erase or wet erase markers. And you can depict a battle as the people are marching to the stairs of the castle, or you can show that dungeon is at T intersection and off to another T intersection, but you can't quite see what's down there. This is a pretty awesome collection. A bridge. It looks like an orc trap set up here. It's probably outside the gate of an orc camp or stronghold. Just a lot of very clever things. The fact that it's got stairwells and tight in places, caverns with glowy bulbous growths of something, a sewer that you have to get across the sewer, this drainage ditch like thing, lava bridge, all the kinds of things that you might need to put miniatures on and show them progressing while they're searching the dungeon for their captured comrade. There's some brilliant stuff in here, and it's very well depicted in art with lamps and all the accoutrements that will make this moody and interesting. I liked it, and I believe in the grand scheme of things, I paid around $12 for this, which isn't too bad in terms of the cost. And it's very portable. This goes right into my dungeon kit as I travel. I find using dungeon tiles a very portable way to take my dungeon terrain with me wherever I go to play with friends. I use plastic painted props to decorate my battle mat layouts, just like the WizKids Mage Knight packs, which can be very difficult to find these days. I recently added the little book of battle mats to my collection because it is portable and had tiles that were different than my other sets. I recommend using 2-minute tabletop or heroic maps when using virtual tabletop software. This episode is brought to you by Kaboomkin, the smaller, faster, funnier RPG of cartoon, fairy tale, post-apocalypse mayhem. It's time to blow stuff up. Get it now at www.kaboomkin.com. Thank you all for watching this episode. Hit like, subscribe, or ring the bell, or Booger will get you. If you want to see more videos like this, go to hopspush.com and buy an RPG or t-shirt. Do good, annoy evil, and bye-bye.